In activity 5, we are practicing taking derivatives using our shortcut formulas. So this is a good time to take out your shortcut formula sheet and remember some of those rules that we learned last semester. So what's the derivative of f of x equals 0.7 x cubed minus 3 x to the minus 3? We want to find f prime of x. Since x cubed is a power function, we can use the power rule. So this is 0.7 times 3x squared using the power rule, and then minus 3 times minus 3 times x to the minus 3 minus 1. I want to write that down just so that we make sure that we do this carefully. So doing a little cleanup, we can simplify 0.7 times 3, that is 2.1. So we have 2.1 x squared, and then we have minus 3 times minus 3, that's a total of plus 9. And then x to the minus 3 minus 1 is minus 4. So that's our first derivative. For part B, we are also going to use the power rule a lot, twice, but we also have to use another rule. So let's look at the structure of our function first. The first piece is a constant raised to a variable. So for that, this is actually an exponential function. 5x to the e, there we need to remember that e is a constant. So we have x, the variable raised to a constant, that is a power function. So for this, we're going to use a power rule. And then x times the square root of x, there we have to do some algebra to simplify, turn it into the form x to a power so that we can use the power rule. So first thing, I'm going to rewrite this as nothing happens to the first two pieces, but x times the square root of x, I'm going to rewrite by saying that the square root of x is equal to x to the 1/2. And so I have x times x to the 1/2, that is a total of x to the 3/2. Because I have x to the first times x to the 1/2, that's a total of x to the 3/2. So far, I haven't taken any derivatives. That comes next. So we only rewrote our original function in a different form. Now we can take the derivative, and since the first piece we have an exponential function, we have to use our rule for exponential functions. And you may remember that the derivative of a to the x is a to the x times the ln of a. So that is the rule that kicks in on our first piece. So we have 2 times pi to the x times the ln of pi. That's our first derivative. And then plus 5 times e times x to the e minus 1, because we are using the power rule. And then for the last piece, we have, again, the power rule, 3/2 x to the 3/2 minus 1. And I'm just going to do one final piece of cleanup. So we have 2 pi to the x ln of pi plus 5e x to the e minus 1 plus 3/2 x to the 1/2. And that's our derivative.